I think I just learned something important, which is if you want to be successful on social media, you have to buy a wine cellar.
It helps.
And make sure everybody knows.
That's the tip of the day.
Is that okay?
We're going to be talking about social media. It is a hot topic, as everybody knows, because, of course, it's very important to our industry. And it's very difficult to break into it in a successful way. And there's always many different ways in which to be successful with engaging in social media. So, would like to start off first and have you guys tell us who you are, where you're with, and what your philosophy is around social media.
So I am Damian Hall, and I work out of Greenville and our Asheville, Ivyster Jackson, Blackstream, and Blackstream. And I just pretty much keep it natural with social and what we post, and try not to give it too much thought or overthink it.
Hi, my name's Liza Caminetti, and I am with Ivyster Jackson Christie's out of our South Park office. I try to engage a lot of my sphere as far as agents in our area. I utilize my social media for coming soons, putting teaser photos out there, especially like Twilight's aerials, just to grab their attention. I don't really have, I like to do things that are in town and things that are coming soon as far as developments and things in Charlotte. But we, again, like Damian said, I just really keep it natural. I don't try to overdo it. I don't try to overdo me talking on there because I feel like you lose people's attention after a while. But I've just gotten very, very lucky, and I didn't realize how many people actually do look at my social media and know about my whole life. So it really does help and work for sure.
Hey everyone, I'm Tyson Jones, and I'm with the Lashcott Company, which is a division of the Litchfield Company in Pawleys Island. So my philosophy with social media would be, I try to be very authentic, and I try to be very consistent with my post. I think it's so important to do things over and over again because you become the top of mind to your sphere of influence. And so I think just being in front of your sphere of people that you network with and realtors, it definitely benefits you.
Thank you. The other question that comes up a lot when we talk about social media is which platform should you focus on? Should you focus on many or should it just be one? And if so, which ones do you prefer?
It's a little overwhelming out there as everybody's TikToking and Instagram reeling and everything like that. For me, I've always been really fond of Facebook and Instagram. So those are the two that we kind of rely on pretty heavily. Bridget, who's on our team, also is super successful with LinkedIn and does a great job with that. So I'd say our top three are probably Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
So I'm not a TikToker. My son tries to convince me to be a TikToker. But we do fun little dancing videos.
I'm pretty, this isn't going in the video.
But that's about it. We focus on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn because I feel like all three of those are hitting a different sphere of clientele. My numbers, doctors, older CEO types are all on LinkedIn and Facebook. But Instagram, I grab a lot of the attention of wives or more of my female clients or my younger clientele.
The decision makers.
The decision makers, yeah. Yeah.
So I have had the most success with Instagram and Facebook. So my attention is mainly there. I have dabbled in LinkedIn some, but my generation, I'm 29, so I have a lot of friends on Facebook and Instagram, and so that's really been my main focus and where I've seen the most return.
The next question that comes up is how often do you post? And do you post to a personal page or do you set up a separate business page?
So I don't really there's no rule that I have necessarily. I just post whenever I, have something cool or I think about my audience, like, will people engage with this? Will they like it? Or is it just some boring, post that everybody's just going to scroll through? So the other day I actually bought out a wine cellar of a client's at one of our listings that's getting ready to close, and they they had this cellar full of good wine that somebody had to, jump on their grenade and buy. So team player here bought out their wine cellar. So I posted that on Facebook and said, guess who just bought a wine cellar? And now, like, for 4 days, everybody's been, you know, I have a lot of new friends now. So, yeah. So, answer to your question, there's no real rhyme or reason for me. I just kind of, it ends up being maybe once a day, but just whenever something, you know, strikes me that I think will get attention.
Do you separate between personal accounts versus business?
I don't. I found it was too cumbersome to keep up with 2 different accounts, and they ended up merging into one somehow. So it's just me at the end of the day, you know. So I just post, you know, stuff about personal life and business kind of on the same channels.
So I post a lot at red lights. Post a lot as soon as I wake up or about to get in the shower or before bed, in the little bit of free time that we have. But I do like to stay consistent with it. We will post through Constant Contact. I post through Canva. And then I will also just post myself through my phone and then just copy and paste to every single one, you know, which is a little bit more time consuming. But I try to make, you know, things in advance in Canva as much as possible, and so does my wonderful assistant Amber. But it's, you know, it's a lot to keep up with when you're working all day long and out showing houses and everything. As far as combining them all, you know, it's really disappointing, but I have found that if I make a post and put my son in it, like 250 people like it. But I do think I have found, as Damian said, I do have a team Instagram page, the Caminiti Consulting Group, but I post to all of them. And even on Facebook, I have Eliza Caminiti Real Estate and then Caminiti Consulting Group, and I post to everything. But I have found that personal one, like the Eliza Caminiti Instagram, I get more engagement. And then especially if I do put stuff up on myself. And I think that our clients want to know us. They want to get to know our personalities and, you know, what are we doing and what do we enjoy in our lives? And it comes up in conversation, like in listing appointments, and client will say, oh, I saw that you just went to Primland last week. Or, you know, I mean, I try not to put traveling on there too much because they want to think we're
I've
working.
seen you on jets before.
Yeah.
I was pretty jealous.
So I don't put too much of my personal stuff because they want to think we're working 24 hours a day, 8 days a week. So that's what we make them think, even though we are. But yeah, so we do engage on all of our platforms because I think there's somebody following each one of them.
So I try to post every day, whether it's a post or, say, Instagram a story, just to show that consistency and engaging with people. I actually do have 2 separate accounts. So I have my personal, and then I have my business Facebook and my business Instagram. About 7 years ago, I just came up with this idea to create Sales the South. And it was just a random idea that stuck with it's become almost my brand because I'm out and people are like, oh, Sales the South, I saw your post, you know. So that's what I've done. I've linked it to my personal account. So I have my own business Instagram, but I try to share my business post to my personal so it's all intertwined. So I think that answers your question.
Absolutely does. In this world, of course, there's a lot of us out there on social media. What do you guys do to make yourself stand out?
So we try to get creative. So we're doing a lot of video content right now. And we have several different YouTube series. We have one vlog that is called DHG Tours. And it's just me walking around these really cool homes, kind of like an architectural digest style if you follow them. Tour of our really amazing listings, and a few of Liza's and some others that we've done. And then we have another video series that's just my vlog. So we try to create different content, you know, day in the life, behind the scenes, real estate stuff, and then showing off our, you know, badass properties too. Jason's actually here filming now, our videographer, to give us content to post in the future. So I would say number one, probably video.
Like Damian, I think it's really important to show your listings as much as possible because people see these houses, you know, and some of the price points that we're seeing here in our greater Charlotte and Lake Norman area are big numbers, you know, $6, $7, $8 million, $10 million houses. And, you know, showing the inside of that, it really excites people. And so we try to post a lot of, you know, if we're at a listing appointment or walking up to inspections, you know, doing like a little Instagram story of that house. And or if I'm going to a listing appointment, you know, I'll say, oh, wow, look at this gorgeous one. And then I get all these direct messages through my Instagram of people saying, what's that? You know, please send me details as soon as possible. I have done a lot more of the talking on the video tours of my listings now too, thanks to my dear friend Lisa, who gave me the courage to do that. She was an inspiration with that. So yeah, I think video interaction is huge because they want to hear you talking. And again, like I go back to what I said before, it just lets your future clientele or current clientele learn your personality, and that's what they want to do. They want to see that you're a go-getter and ambitious, and how you speak about a home and carry yourself.
Yeah, they have to know, like, and trust you in order to do business with you, and that helps build that.
Absolutely, 100%.
I would say I mix up my content. I have done a lot of video in the past, property tours, doing more reels, just trying to switch it up to keep people entertained. Even things like local business spotlights, like spotlighting businesses in the area because they're going to send me business and we can help each other grow. And that's what it's all about. That's what I love about what I do, is because we can all help each other. I think another thing that I do is so polls, like if I do a poll, people will respond and I will like engage in a conversation with them. So I'm making a relationship on Instagram, but I know they'll think of me when the time comes for their real estate needs. So I think that's something I do, is I've actually made a lot of friends through social media that I think you feel like you know, but you don't really know in person. And I get a lot of referrals that way too.
How do you decide what type of content you're posting, and then how do you engage with your audience to make sure that they stay interactive with you?
I think the biggest thing that I try to do is just respond to all the comments in a timely manner. So even if it's, you know, you posted an award or, you know, but just sold, people congratulate you. Just taking the time to acknowledge that they took the time to comment and look and engage on your post is a big deal. And I think people appreciate that. So even if it's, you know, 100 comments, I try to eventually get around to thanking everybody that's commented.
And how do you decide what type of content you're going to post?
There's really no rhyme or reason for me on that. It can be, you know, anything personal. You know, we do Instagram stories. It's kind of behind the scenes of my life. Everything that's on kind of Instagram and Facebook on the feeds is a little more polished and less behind the scenes. So for me, there's really no rhyme or reason. I'm just kind of, you know, throw it out there.
I agree with Damian on that. I think that social media is very much a two-way street. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. So anybody that comments on anything on my social media, I respectfully always do respond, even if it's a mass, hey, thank everybody, you know, thank you for all your nice comments, your kind words. And then I also engage on their stuff. Like all the big agents in our area, I always engage and comment on their stuff because it just builds that agent relationship too. And then they know your name. You know, if you come and look at one of their listings and you need to get through the door before it goes active.
That's huge.
Yeah. So I do think that engaging with everybody and commenting even on local stuff that's going on or developments, or if it's a big builder that has a project going, they want to see and learn your name that way for sure.
I think, and that's how you build rapport digitally too. I think if you've never met people, when you add them to social, you know, by engaging, interacting with them, you kind of build rapport. They feel like they know you.
Absolutely. The amount of referrals that I get from people that have referred me to one of their friends or family members or coworkers, because that person that referred me sees me on social media and everything that I'm doing, and I've never even met that person before. So I think it really does help.
I have to agree with them totally. Engaging is so important. One thing that I use was the last part of your question, scheduling, like deciding what to post. Okay. Yeah. So I use this app called Planoly, and I can actually schedule my post. I'm sure y'all have used it.
What's the name of it?
Planoly. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Planoly. Okay. And you can schedule your post for the month or the week, and that's been really helpful. This past year, I did have someone managing my social media. But it made it really seamless because I was able to look and see what was being posted.
Obviously, you guys are very successful with your social media. How did you get started on those platforms? Did you have any formal training? Did you do were you self-taught? How did you get started? How did you find out the tips and tricks on how to really engage in those social media platforms?
So for me, it was kind of self-taught. So I would just kind of learn as I go, read a lot of articles from Inman News and see what the top people are doing, $1 million listing brokers in New York. And then from there, it just kind of became natural. And, you see what works and what doesn't and what people are engaging with and, kind of build it from there. So it's definitely something you have to build on. It doesn't just happen overnight. You build your followers and audience. And you have to give them good content. So they don't want to see a boring, templated something. Make it something interesting that you would stop and engage with. That's pretty much how I roll.
I self-taught myself at the beginning, but I do a lot of research and reading up on it. I think another big thing too is you got to find your people that you like their posts, like agents in Miami or LA or New York or whatever it may be, and kind of follow their lead a little bit too. I'm not saying be a copycat in any way, but it just gives you ideas and gets your head spinning. I mean, that's kind of some of the posts I create. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, so I can take that idea from her, but then do this with it. But we do a lot of, just researching and YouTubing and all of that. And there's so much still to learn. There is one girl that I always look at her posts, Katie Lance, and she's very big on Instagram, and she'll post these really interesting comments like, hey, if you do this or type in this word on your story, it's going to pull all these different words and, hashtags and all that fun stuff. So I think it's just researching and everything. But I started off with somebody helping me, but it does take a lot of the time off of it, but it just didn't seem as authentic. Like if it's me doing it, it's me putting my heart and soul into it.
I'll have to agree with that. Self-taught. I have YouTube things and try to figure out on my own, like creating my first reel. I was like, how does this work? But I figured it out and asked my friends. So I would say I haven't had much training in it. I've just learned. I learn as I go.
So we've talked a lot about followers and engaging. A couple referrals from those posts. Have you seen an ROI come from your social media, and how do you measure that if you have?
It's hard to measure it because you don't always know. For me, I use social as like a CRM. So anybody I meet in the street, I'm like, hey, do you have Instagram? Are you on Facebook? How do I follow you? Or if it's a new client. So I try to add them on social because then they end up in my ecosystem. They see what we're posting. They see our videos and our properties, the kind of properties that we sell. And then naturally they become a client, or, they may not. They decide, well, I don't like him. But then they weren't a good fit for us anyway. So it saved us time and bye, Felicia. We try to kind of create it like a social CRM, and then so that way people can follow us, and then they get to know, see who you are and learn, your personality, and I think that's huge.
Kind of the same. I mean, I definitely keep track of some of the bigger listings and bigger buyers that I get through social media. So that time that I spend is definitely well worth it. Because again, you have to think about it. You could be this big producing agent, and those buyers and sellers, they don't have access to our MLS to pull numbers and go, oh, she sold 30 million this year. So if you're not putting it out there, how do they know? If you're not in magazines putting full page ads with all your listings or what you've sold or anything like that, they have no clue. So, yes, you can work your business off of referrals, but they want to see you out there. They want to know that their house is going to be everywhere. So I see a lot of return on it. Amber and I we just pulled my whole LinkedIn list. I said, wait a minute, I've got so many amazing CEOs and big people following me on LinkedIn. So we pulled all their emails, and we just pulled, I think, over 550 of them into our CRM to do on our monthly blast.
Did you have to buy premium to get their email addresses? How did that work?
Well, that would be a question for that wonderful lady sitting back there, Amber.
And legal department might want to close their ears. Can't really disclose how I get my emails.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Sure. That'd be great.
Everybody,
Welcome to the panel.
she loves to speak in front of people.
So first what I did was Google, how do you import your contacts from LinkedIn? So that might be the first thing you want to do. It will take about 10 minutes or so. You go in there and, and import your contacts. And not everybody on your LinkedIn page will have an email address attached to it. So you're not going to get every single person that you follow on there. But once you request that, it's going to take about 10 minutes. LinkedIn will email you that they have the data, and then they import it into an Excel spreadsheet, copy and paste. So.
And the conference is done. Thank you.
That all sounded legal to me.
Yeah.
Did you have to? Do you have
My
like
way might be a little different.
Do you have to? Do you like pick a monthly subscription?
No, I'm not on premium.
Okay.
No.
Wow.
And we pulled that right into our constant contact CRM and then into our Reliance back office CRM. Yeah.
All right. I have seen a return, I feel like, from my social media. I look back, my business even in the past 6 months has been mainly referral, but all of those leads follow me on social media. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely say it's working for me as far as.
And I didn't really answer your question, sorry. So I see about 10 to 15 million a year in sales probably directly because of social.
Wonderful. One final question for you guys. For those who are trying to start getting into social media, or they've been in it and they want to start expanding and being a little bit more successful in how they utilize social media, what would be a couple of the tips that you would give them in order to get them started down that path?
So I would say the fastest way to jumpstart that would be to create content. So content is going to be king moving forward. And I mean, that's the biggest way to build engagement and get people to interact with you, and then also get people to know, like, and trust you because they see you on these videos. So I think in the future, it's going to be even more critical that you're putting out content, and whether it's infographics or beautiful photography of your homes, your listings, or property videos, or videos that you've made yourself. Video is going to be king. So video. Please. So we've shot a ton of content with our vlogs, and so Jason just put this together last week, basically clips of from all of our videos, and put together a really cool promo video for us. Thank you.
That was awesome.
And that was a fun one. So, we just utilized clips from our different properties and, some stuff we'd been doing from our vlog, and Jason mastered that awesome video. So, that's testament to, I think video is going to be the future.
I agree. I think the video interaction definitely is the future, for sure. But for anybody starting off, I think the biggest thing I would say is you got to start following big people, even if it's not in your town, make sure you're following everybody at your firm, and creating content. Even if you don't have those listings right now, go to those people in your firms that have those listings and say, hey, can I repost this? Contact me if you want to see this home, put all your details. And it just shows that your market, even if it's not your listing. unfortunately, Reed and I get these people that like to steal pictures of our listings and post them on Instagram without asking, that aren't in our firm, but definitely ask. But I think that's the biggest thing, is just showing that you're out there doing the business, and then just follow people, making those comments. It doesn't matter if you have more people you're following than you do followers. I do. You can look on my Instagram. I follow way more people than what are even following me. But it's, again, anything where I'm engaging or talking or showing my life or my lifestyle or my job or my listings, I always get a boatload of new people following me with that stuff. And you guys are more than welcome to take anything of mine and post it if you want to. I don't care.
Likewise. At Damian Hall Group. Shameless plug.
I love it. I would say just be creative and don't be scared to put yourself out there and video. It's not about perfection. I think it's just about being authentic and being yourself and connecting with people so they trust you and want to work with you. Social media is essentially free, most of the services, to us, so why wouldn't we use it? Everyone's on it, so I think don't be scared. Don't have to have the perfect post. Just do it and have fun with it. Have fun and the success will come.
Yeah, those are great points. I think too, like, utilize people in this room. Like Liza and I met in 2019 at the Grove Park Inn, and next thing you know, the next month Jason and I were headed to Charlotte to go film her beautiful listings, and she took us on a full tour of 3 of her different homes from Lake Norman to South Park. And I mean, it was a killer video. We're doing it again tomorrow. So, collaborate with other agents. If you don't have any listings right now, or, if you want to change scenery from your social feed, give people a different flavor, hook up with one of your other agents in another market and, go create some content with them.
Yeah, or go tour the listings of your coworkers and have a person, your friend, or taking video of you touring that house. And you can even add your own music to the background and all of that fun stuff. It really, it works for sure.
Tyson, you mentioned on a call that you do a couple different things with your email signature.
Oh, yeah. So I did a business card video. So in my email signature, when I connect with a new client, I will send that to them just to give them a feel for who I am, just by seeing, me talk and that sort of thing, connect. And then I do like tips from Tyson. I created a character of myself, just trying to get creative and fun and really giving people an item of value, essentially, just giving them real estate tips. So.
Are you guys doing your own content, or do you have assistance with that?
I do my own content. Amber creates some stuff too when she's got some free time, but we do all of our own.
A combination of both.
And pretty much do my own with Jason making the videos for us. The Jason Show again.
Got it. Put me to work.
Walk off that wine.
Thank you, appreciate it. I think I just learned something important, which is if you want to be successful on social media, you have to buy a wine cellar.
It helps.
And make sure everybody knows.
That's the tip of the day.
Is that okay? My name is Andreas. I just joined the Asheville office.
Welcome.
Welcome, Andreas.
Thank you very much. The real question is, I currently use a company that posts content for me on the professional page on Facebook, and it's all real estate related content, but it's not necessarily for the luxury market, right? Like what to spend money on or not when you're about to sell your house, what repairs to make and which one. So this kind of thing. And I've been doing this like for a year and a half, I yet have to see the first phone call that I received because of that, excuse me, because somebody saw something interesting. What do you think of this kind of content being posted there? Do you see any value in that? Because I'm kind of giving up on it.
So I think that's what I had touched on earlier, that I did have a really good social media girl for a while, but you have to personalize it. They want to see you on there. They want to see what you're recommending. And I know when there's someone else doing it for you, and even when it's a bigger company, yes, they're putting good content out there, but you need to be filling in between that, like putting personal stuff, or like we said, you going to, you know, one of Laura's listings that's in your office and filming yourself there, or having somebody film you there, or getting one of the video guys up in the Asheville area to do something up for you touring that. But people want to learn and know you.
Yeah, you are the brand.
You're the brand. Yep.
Okay.
And it's hard when you have somebody else managing your social because it tends to not be as personal.
Yeah.
So you'll have to find a way to kind of mix some of that personal stuff because people want to get to know you as a person before they'll call you and want to do business with you.
Yep.
Do you have another question? Sure. Okay. I've only been living in Asheville for 5 years, so I don't have much. I'm from New York, from Germany, from New York. I don't have much of a sphere, a local sphere there. So of the 700 or so friends I have on Facebook, you know, 580 are realtors, right? I mean, is there any value to that? And what kind of content is important, could help me in terms of, you know?
So I would focus on building your audience first, because if you're gonna start posting more things, personal things, you need an audience. You need to build your audience first. And I think you don't want to be posting things for realtors. It's good for referral business, but I would say do things to build your audience. Add more friends on Facebook, and find ways to bolster your friends there.
And a way to do that is commenting on Facebook. If they post a family picture, comment. You just want to be present. You want to be in front of people. And one thing a challenge I had to overcome being in a new area, I was not from Pawleys Island, Myrtle Beach, but when I moved there, I got involved with any organization I could just to meet people. And that might be something you can do to network with other people, not just realtors.
And it could be that you don't focus on Facebook, since that's mainly people you know. Focus on Instagram first, which you can build followers and people that don't necessarily know you, but they just like what you're putting out there. And that may be the best platform to start, because then you're not out there having to meet people in order to add them to your friends on Facebook.
Also, you need to utilize the network that you have coming from a big city like New York. Go to those people's pages on their Instagram and start following all the people that they're following, because you're in a city where there's people, there's all eyes on Asheville right now. So you may start being able to utilize New York and getting some referrals from some of the people that you built relationships with up there too.
That's exactly what I did when I moved to Myrtle Beach. I reached out to everyone I knew from college, from my hometown, and I get so many referrals that way because they know I'm selling real estate at the beach, and everyone wants a beach house. So.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Okay, hold on, I got it. Nancy?
How valuable do you think the hashtags are?
So I use hashtags for every post, and I've been doing that for years because the idea is, like, Tyson sells the South. When they click that, they can be, if they click the hashtag, they'll see all my other posts. So I think it's really important for consistency when they click on that to be like, oh, wow, she's been doing this a long time. She just didn't start this. So that's how I would judge it.
It very, very, yeah. You want to see what are your local people hashtagging, and what are some of the big people on Instagram that you like and want to strive to be like, and they have a lot of followers. Go through all their posts and see what the hashtags are that they're hashtagging, but you also then can follow those big hashtags too. And like Tyson said, that's when they will link that hashtag to you and then go to your page, and then they start following you. I get a lot of people, like I always do, hashtag luxury homes or hashtag luxury lifestyle or luxury agent. And I get a lot of followers, a lot of big agents from other cities that way, because they're seeing my stuff by doing those hashtags. I always do Christie's. Yep, I do. I tag Christie's in everything that I can. I tag every single one of our Ivester Jackson offices because it helps. Yeah, because it somehow all links back to something.
You can create them, save them in your notepad on your iPhone, copy and paste every time. Easy.
Well, that's the young brain that thinks to do it like that.
Let's go to the bar.
I type them out every single time.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, every red light. And then people are honking behind me. There was a hand back here.
I add some every once in a while, but I usually use the same ones over and over again and then add according to what the post is.
Yep. Agree.
So I have one more question, and I think this probably may not apply to Damian, but talk about any initial shyness you had about putting yourself in front of the camera.
Jeez.
I'm not very shy, Reed. You know I always have a lot to say. Definitely, like I mentioned before, Lisa was a very big influence for me, seeing her talking on her videos. My wonderful videographer, Mario, who's here today, that does all of my listing stuff for me. He pushes me too. And, I don't make notes when I go. I don't, I'm like, all right, Mario, let's just roll with this. I got to be out of here in 20 minutes. So we don't have a lot of retakes and things like that unless there's an airplane flying over. But yeah, it takes a minute to get there. If you're not a person that has been up in front of people talking, in situations, but you got to get over all that, because it's the same thing as sitting in a listing appointment with brand new sellers, or a brand new meeting with buyers, having a coffee or anything like that. So you got to let the shyness go, but it will be there at first. But just do some listing videos and you'll get over it real quick.
Yeah.
I was definitely shy at first. I call myself an introverted extrovert. But, I finally got over the fact, you don't have to be perfect. As long as you're doing it and people are seeing you and they're seeing your real self, you're good.
Yep. Just be yourself.
I love that you have a videographer now. That's awesome.
Tyson's going to probably disagree because she sounds extremely organized with her post. So mine, because I'm doing it from my phone most of the time, I can't space it. It's very hard from the iPhone to add pretty little dots and put all that space between the post you wrote and then the hashtags. So I just throw my hashtags right after.
I put it in the post. You can create that on your notepad, or you can you can type and then you enter dot, and then you get all these little spaces. I like it that way because it looks more uniform, but you can, so to answer your question, I do put it on the post, not in the comments. Some people do that. I really don't know the benefit, but yeah.
Tyson, I'm stealing your notepad.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I love my notepad.
So maybe a couple last comments. I think I was with Marshall last week, and we were talking about his adventures into TikTok land, and somehow managed to. What's your ID? TikTok Realtor. TikTok Real Estate Agent. That's good. But anyways, we were talking about being on camera, and what did you say to me about you just have to get over it?
Well, I just go and talk. I don't. If they put a video up there, it'd be kind of embarrassing. But it's usually just one person looking at it, so I don't really care. Yeah, but it's educational. I do a lot of educational videos on TikTok and kind of transfer it over to Instagram. But I think I had 150,000 views last week on one, and I got 4 leads from it. So it's successful.
Yeah, and so one of the things he said to me, we had a lot of time to talk as we were playing golf, which was great. But one of the things he said to me was, you're on camera, you look the way you look, you just have to get over it.
100%.
And so I think there's a lot of people in this room who probably, have a little bit of camera shyness for various reasons. And, I think our, what we happen to sell, lifestyle and, pretty houses, I think you can figure out ways to put yourself in front of the camera for brief moments and then let the house do the work or let the neighborhood do the work. But video, if you're getting the message from these guys, is really, really important, and has, you know, if you've been on Instagram for 3 or 4 years, or any of the other platforms, you've seen a surge in video content, and you're going to keep seeing it. So definitely timely topic. Okay, awesome job. Let's give these guys a hand.
Much.
Thanks.